So I'm going to take this opportunity that my sweet little kitten died this morning to really be myself without brushing my hair, without getting dressed, without even getting out of bed. Because I'm going to give myself this day to just mourn and be sad. And luckily I have a good reason. But still, I have a few friends that have a very hard time with that, with seeing me sad. And what I want to talk about today is being ourselves. And I think that this is what we want the most in the world. It's just to be ourselves. And what does that mean? About 10 years ago, when I was opening a biodanza group with my friend Ronnie, I went to pass out flyers to people at an Independence Day event here in Israel. And one lady asked me, I told her, about biodanza, that it's an opportunity to become closer to ourselves, or to be ourselves, to learn how to be more ourselves, something like that. And she asked me, what does that mean? And I really have been thinking about that for the last 10 years. And my answer, I feel, has become more and more precise. And lately, even more, I think. And it will probably continue to evolve. But it's a lot clearer for me today than it was back then. Back then, I really didn't know how to answer her. She said, well, aren't I myself already, right now? So, no, you're not. We're not. Very, very few of us are really, really, truly ourselves. I'm not sure if anyone really is in human form. But as I said, my answer is still evolving. But why aren't we ourselves? Because most of us are just being and acting out of conditioning and out of our wounding, out of our need to protect ourselves in childhood. We adopted patterns and ways of behavior that allowed us to feel safe. And we've taken that into our adulthood. Also, society teaches us what's okay and what's not okay, how it's okay and not okay for us to be. So, what is it to be ourself? What is the self that I think we all want to be so much inside of ourselves? For me, it has been a very burning desire that I have not been able to ignore. Many people do manage to kind of just go on with their lives and not pay much attention to this calling to be ourselves. Not sure why I have this really strong calling and other people don't. Um, so what is the self that we want so much to be, right? Who doesn't want the freedom to be ourselves? That's why people drink alcohol, because it allows us to loosen up and not to be so self-conscious. Take drugs, whatever. Even sex allows us, or just very strong emotion allows us to kind of just be in the moment and feel close to ourselves. So I can just share my latest take on what it is to be ourselves and why we don't feel safe to do so for the most part. I'd like to give an example from a few weeks ago when I came back from Sinai, and I wasn't, it always takes me about a week to adjust to being back. I was there for 2 weeks, and it's Sinai is like a very deep meditation. Life slows down. Yeah, and I feel very connected to myself there. So coming back into society is quite hard for me. And after about a week, I decided to call my dad, who I had missed and hadn't talked to for the last 3 weeks. And when he asked me, "How are you?" I said, "Well, I'm still adjusting to being back." And he got angry with me because he doesn't think that it should take a week to adjust, for one to adjust to coming back from a trip. So that's a good example how as children, we're taught that it's not okay to be ourselves. Just one little example. And also the reactions of some of my friends who have a hard time seeing me sad and seeing me cry. That's also another example, because many adults tell children, "Stop crying," right? Because it's hard for them to see their children crying. And when we're told to stop crying, we're basically, when our parents are angry with us for crying because it's hard for them to see their beloved children upset. It also teaches us that it's not okay to just be ourselves, because crying is a very natural part of being a human, especially a human child. So we learn to hide who we really are, and we adopt these kind of personas, these like tough personas that show that we're strong. Or basically, we're stuffing down our emotions and pretending to be someone who we're not. So for me, this true self, who I have basically dedicated at least the last 10 years to becoming closer to, it's our essence. It's who we came here to be. I watched a video by Teal Swan lately that really, she really expressed it in such a clear way. When we come into the world, we're like a flower that just has to open. in order to expose our true essence. And the job of our parents and society should be just to allow that opening. But instead, our parents and society think that it's their job to shape us into what they think that we should be, which is what basically causes us to separate from our true selves. And in my opinion, this is the biggest ailment of society. This is what's wrong with our world, because people are it doesn't feel good when we're not able to be ourselves. It doesn't feel good for us when we don't feel safe to be who we came here to be. In my opinion, it's the reason for all the violence, all the wars, all the drug abuse, all the depression, everything that's wrong with our society. So for me, being this, what is this true self? It's this unfolding flower. It's, for me, when I take a few deep breaths and I put my hand on my heart, I can feel my essence. It's taken me a lot of practice, actually, to feel it more and more. I started meditating, I think about over 12 years ago, maybe 13 years ago. But because of all the conditioning, and because there was this message that it's not safe for me to be who I am, it's really taken a long time for me to be able to easily connect to my essence. And that's what it is for me. And this is the place where I feel safe, no matter what's going on around me. This is the place from which I can know what the truth is. And this is the place from which I want to be and to do things and to make decisions. This is my home. And that's all I have to say today.